Welcome to round 13 of All-Stars. Last episode, ZX was eliminated due to defacing the Home Depot, leaving us with our final four, 96LB, Not a Donut, Plasmic Trojan, and TR. ZX did send in a eulogy. Here's what they said. I don't usually write eulogies for TWOWs. In fact, I think the last time I wrote one was in 2017 for one of the first mini-TWOWs I ever joined that was nowhere near as engaging as this one. In fact, I'd say this is the most emotionally invested I've ever been in a TWOW. The only ones that really came close before this were the Agency from 2020, and maybe TWOW from 2017. All three of these were at least partially item TWOWs. Anyway, I made it further than I ever could have imagined. I didn't expect to become a walk-on at all, let alone win second stage with just 13 points to my name, let alone place in the top half of third stage, and I still can't shake the feelings of imposter syndrome that come with this performance. Coming on round 12, I thought I was going to die this round the moment I saw my responses in voting, and unlike all the times before, I was correct. Goodbye to Epsilon's All-Stars. You were possibly the greatest TWOW experience I'll ever have, and thanks to Epsilon, you were the one who provided this experience. Thank you so much, ZX. I'm very glad you joined the walk-on competition this season, and I really hope you can get past the imposter syndrome because your run was insanely impressive, especially during first and second stage. Thank you again for all the kind words. To keep the tone in check, Not a Donut said, Plasmic Trojan. This round's prompt was simple. You run a food truck, and lately business hasn't been great. What do you change about your food or your truck to improve sales? The twist this round was Badge TWOW. I'll run through a quick reminder of the rules this round since they were pretty complicated, but I would recommend rewatching the end of the previous episode for a full explanation if you need it. Each player submitted 4 responses split between 2 different deadlines. The bottom 3 responses will be unable to earn any badges. The top 13 responses are awarded badges based on their placement and content. Players can earn multiple of the same badge with different responses. The player with the most total badges will win the round, and the player that collects the fewest total badges will be eliminated. Here's a graphic showing all the badges and how they can be earned. I'll leave it here for a few seconds. Alright, let's get to results. As always, we're revealing players based on the order they placed last round. Instead of revealing their worst responses first, however, I'm just going in the order their responses were submitted, so each response could place anywhere on the graph. Over on the left side of the screen is the badge bank. This will keep track of how many confirmed badges each player has earned. Badges aren't added until they're completely locked in, so once a badge appears in someone's badge bank, it's there for good. That also means there's going to be a huge wave at the very end of results. Plasmic Trojan won last round for the second time in a row, so he's up first. Cover the truck with customers' mid-bite quotes. 5 stars attract fans of extreme food. The only thing I really don't like about this response is the word extreme. There's nothing in MMZ, MMJ, MM that really suggests the food is extreme in any way. It just sounds like it's, good food. The 5 stars do add a lot to the response though. I think they're very funny. Let's put a response on the board. Trojan starts the round with 53%. That's almost certainly a good enough score to escape the bottom 3. Now, since the bottom 3 responses don't get badges, we can't give Trojan any badges for this response just yet. He has to have 3 other responses placed below this one first. Next up is Not a Donut. Arm your van with parrots. They quoted another bozo? Well, jinx, we owe you a Coke. That'll be $2. The wording here is a bit awkward, but I like the idea at the core of it. It's a fun spin to put on jinxing, The word jinx was very convenient for the inclusion badge, so I'm kinda surprised NAD was the only one to make a response based on jinxing. Let's see his score. %. Not a great start for NAD. That's about the most uncertain score you can get on the borderline between probable safety and probable elimination. Either way, we won't be seeing this response as badges for a long time. Next up is TR. Capitalize on stupidity. Rename foods exotically, then charge more. Ovum qualitas is just eggs. Here's a fun trick. If you can't think of any English words that fit a technical, just use a different language entirely. Ovum, or ovum I think, qualitas actually does just mean quality eggs, by the way. TR did his research. Will that research result in a good score? Oh yeah, 72% is a good score. That's potential winner material right there. Fun fact, halfway through voting this response had just 53%. That is not how things ended. In the last 7 votes, TR's first response was not voted lower than 5th out of 18. This was also my favorite response, so I'm pretty glad that comeback happened. 96 is the last person to put a mark on the graph. Just use a zany pirate theme. The truck's cannons serve customers meals, explosions cook food quick. If anything, this might be the most expensive modification presented, and the most dangerous. I don't have much else to say here, but I do like this response. Let's see the score. "64% is very solid, maybe even top 3 material with a bit of luck. Now that we've placed 4 responses, we can finally start handing out some badges. Because TR used all 5 letters required by the inclusion badge, he's guaranteed to get it on his first response. Next, we loop back around to Trojan with his second response. Inject melatonin into the truck's food. Charge dozy customers extra for quick restorative coffee. I feel like this trick only lasts a few weeks at best, but hey, it's a food truck. You can drive it around. Let's get to Trojan's score. "58%, pretty close to Trojan's first response. With that placement, 96 notches his first badge. Not a Donut's up next. Extreme supersizing. Javelin-esque hot dogs are launched toward homes, creating delivery options. Not a Donut decided to use the blood badge on this response, meaning it has a 15% penalty. It's a bit wordy, but I do like this response. Based on how long Google told me a javelin is, you're looking at an 8-footer with mustard and relish. That's like one of those things that a restaurant puts on their wall challenging you to eat, and you get your name and picture on a corkboard if you finish. Let's see if NAD gets to join the Wall of Fame. "61% is solid. Not a Donut secures the inclusion badge and the blood badge on that response, meaning he's now in the lead. TR comes up next. Food ARGs. Jello is cut into puzzle pieces. Excited fans move quickly, buying more to complete it. I've seen this type of idea used before a handful of times, but it's definitely executed better than usual here. ARGs are a pretty reliable idea to point to, I guess. That's not to say that there's anything wrong with this response. In fact, its fulfillment of the inclusion badge is pretty seamless. Let's see TR's score. "68%. TR now has the top 2. That's another inclusion badge for him. 96. Serve exotic meals from other dimensions. Customers zoom quick to enjoy food out of this world. Speaking of popular ideas, here's the 100th rendition of the out of this world joke. Still, like I said before, there's nothing wrong with this response. It's executed pretty well. Let's see how it does. Almost 50%. It's alright. That finally pushes one of Trojan's responses out of the bottom 3. Finally, everyone has at least 1 badge. We are now moving to the second batch of responses. Remember, the first 8 responses that we've already revealed were all shown to the final 4 after the first deadline. The remaining 8 responses were made with the revealed responses in mind, so the strategy is going to be a bit deeper. Starting off is Trojan. Hydra food, eating just 1 quickly unveils extra, embezzling sales from the truck's customers. I know I just said that strategy was going to be deeper, but Trojan ended up changing basically nothing about his strategy with this response. Hydras are a far less common idea than the last two responses we saw, but it hasn't seemed like that really matters. Let's see how Trojan opens up the second half of results. "55%. Trojan continues to firmly control the 50 to 60 range. Now that he has 2 surviving responses, Trojan becomes the first person to get a Sandy badge. 2 of them, in fact. That puts Trojan in the lead. Not a Donut is back up for a third go-around. Fizzy lifting drinks, 10-mile-high rigs clinch flying kids, giving flying fish gifts visits idly. So, here come the riskier responses. Currently, we haven't yet revealed a single response that doesn't use all 5 vowels. If this response survives, NAD could possibly secure the omission badge all to himself. I think it maybe could have used a bit longer in the oven because I'm really not sure what a flying fish gift is. Let's see if NAD can survive. "25% is probably dead. It was a gamble and it didn't pay off, unfortunately. Trojan gets another 2 badges with his first response. TR is up next. Perform truck stunts while cooking like a fast and furious fiend. Fans follow for flashy fast food. Google seems to mostly say that ampersand is a punctuation mark, and Fast and Furious is a movie pun, so I decided to count the full 9 words of alliteration here. Once again, TR is gambling on taking some rarer badges through passing a difficult technical. It's good that TR used a pretty simple idea with this response, as I really didn't have much difficulty understanding it despite the alliteration. Let's see how it does. "45%. A fall from grace for sure, but it's probably going to end up counting. 96 finally gets 2 responses out of the bottom 3, earning him a healthy amount of badges. Speaking of 96, he's here to try the alliteration game too. Contra custom checks. Customers can crave crazy cute cat coupons, coax countless to my food truck. Wow, overkill. If this lives, it'll destroy TR's alliteration record. It's harder to understand, but decorating your checks I think is a nice idea. And it's pretty creative. Through the alliteration, this might be the easiest technique to implement. If decorating your checks is even legal, I don't actually know. Let's see the score. "26%. Again, most likely not counting. We can't rule it out for sure though. As a result of that placement, we actually have no new badges to hand out this time. We're now into the final 4 responses. I should take this opportunity to point out that there are a lot of badges, like the glistening badge, trimetallic badge, abbreviated badge, and repeat badge, that likely won't be confirmed until all 16 responses are given a score. So yeah, don't count anyone out until the final badge counts are revealed. There's going to be a large wave of badges handed out at the last second. With that in mind, let's start the final group of responses with Plasmic Trojan. Quick plays hinge plot on the food sales. Customers just buy pizza to axe this cheesy reveal. This one was made under a time crunch, and I hate to say it, but I think it does show just a little. The ending is kind of contrived. But as long as Trojan beats 37%, he can still earn the badges he was aiming for with it. Can he do it? Yes, by a lot. 65% puts Trojan's 4th response in contention for the trimetallic badge, which is a nice bonus that I'm sure he wasn't expecting. In the meantime, he completes his inclusion and Sandy badge collections to extend his lead. Not a Donut is up next. Dress like Santa to give gifts. Giving gets guests good graces. gifty kids earn 10% off on drinks. Unfortunately, this is one less word of alliteration than TR had, so Not a Donut won't be getting the repeat badge. Still, I like the response. Dressing as Santa could be a pretty fun gimmick for a food truck, even if it would be really hot. Maybe there's an untapped market for winter food trucks. That actually might be a real thing, now that I'm talking about it. %. Not bad. That response lives. He doesn't get any new badges yet, but TR's first response secures the Tri-Metallic badge. 2 responses are left, one of which is TR's. Using fans blow exhaust fumes to jeopardize other trucks. Visitors quickly switch to buy your food. This response makes TR the only person to leech a Sandy badge off of someone else's response. This shares 3 words with one of Trojan's responses. Since Trojan was getting the Sandy badge anyway, that ended up being a pretty solid play. It's another simple idea with this response. Let's see how it does. %, is closer than it needed to be, but it'll work. TR suddenly has a ton of badges, and Trojan gets one of the abbreviated badges. Yeah, that's right, his 95 character response is the shortest one currently revealed. That brings us to our final response, the riskiest gamble of them all. 96's final response. Hymns, psyched by my spry rhythms, flybys try my fry. There are a lot of badges riding on this placing higher than 37%. If 96 gets it, he's safe for sure. If not, 96 might be dead. There are a lot of badges left to reveal, so anything could happen, but losing 2 responses is hard to come back from. Let's see 96's final score. It bombed. But we're not done yet. We still have to reveal the final wave of badges. One of these players is about to be eliminated. Who is it going to be? By 1 badge, Not a Donut is eliminated. Well, just like that, our 2 deep-running walk-ons are struck down back-to-back. Not a Donut, you're completely unique among the entire All-Star cast in the fact that, prior to your dominating run this season, I didn't even know who you were. I was really hoping someone like you would break out in the walk-on competition and surprise me, and you delivered better than I ever expected. Not a Donut absolutely steamrolled the walk-on competition in first stage, placing 1st, 3rd, and 3rd. He adapted to the item game quickly, taking advantage of a ton of different cards to finish in 9th. From there, Not a Donut played a pretty solid 3rd stage, scoring a round win in round 9. Not a Donut, you really didn't have many close calls, but in the end you were just kind of outpaced in the final 4. Still, that's a run to be proud of. Thank you so much for joining, and I'm glad I was able to get to know you through your success here. Okay, let's look at some stats. Here's the full leaderboard. I didn't make a score over time graph this time around because what would I even put on it? I would like to congratulate Leopard Sun for not placing last with that meth dummy. Based on badge count, 96LB scrapes for the 4th round in a row. He absolutely refuses to go down. Something that's very interesting to note about this summary right here is that for the past 4 rounds, Trojan, TR, and 96 have all placed exactly in that order. In fact, TR has not scored higher than Trojan since round 1, which TR won. That feels weird because I don't feel like Trojan has really dominated the game over TR. I guess it's not like TR has been that close to elimination either. That's 96's job. This round also gave Trojan a 3-round win streak, in case that wasn't obvious. No actual people predicted Not a Donut to place 4th. However, this placement puts Pepsi, MGR, and the SR order prediction in a 3-way tie for 1st. That's neat. Okay, let's move on to the next prompt. This round is a rehash of the final floor killing floor round between Ironic and Gray from Season 3. It's a Mad vs. City round. Here's how it's going to work. Instead of a normal free-for-all, we'll be holding 3 one-on-one matchups. Each matchup will be randomly assigned one of 3 unusual premises to work with. That'll give you 3 something to base your responses on. Then you use the 8-line template I'll provide you to craft 2 verses for your matchups. Voting will be head-to-head, and each matchup will be handed to one winner. The loser of the round is decided in a pretty simple way. If anyone goes 0-2, losing both of their matchups, they're eliminated, and the player who goes 2-0 will be declared the winner. If everyone goes 1-1, then the rankings will be determined by the number of votes cast in each player's favor. I'm going to keep the template a secret from the general audience, since I want them to go into voting blind. I will, however, share the 3 premises. Premise 1, you are a planet and you are beefing with another planet. Explain why you are a way better and cooler planet than the other planet. You may assign any attributes you like to yourself and to your opponent. Premise 2, you and your opponent are both very proud of your sons and their somewhat mediocre Little League baseball teams. Today, their teams are facing each other and you're sick of your opponent's behavior. Premise 3, you work at Domino's and your opponent works at Pizza Hut. You are dissing your opponent, but at some point during your verse, you have to deliver a pizza. Living players, I will inform you after this episode releases which of the 2 premises you were assigned. You won't be allowed to share which ones you got during the responding period, however, so you won't know which prompts your opponent received. You're just gonna have to put in full effort to both of them. I think that's all I have to say. Good luck, Final 3.